Okay, so this scenario is characterized by a diagonal pattern. And in this scenario, from the 5th of August low, we've seen a wave 1 to the upside and then an ABC to the downside, or you might even call it WXY, but that's not so important now for the understanding of the pattern. Important is to understand that we've really retraced a lot here into these September lows from the August high here and here. And the market this week bottomed at 2,150 locally. We're now recovering a bit, not impulsive, but this is the spot from where the bulls could make a comeback. Because in here, from here, let's assume we go higher, then we would need a third wave, fourth and fifth to complete a 5-wave pattern. And the third wave should take us to the 138.2 extension of the initial 1-2 setup. So we talk about 3,140 at least. And the fifth wave should take us to 3,350. This is still possible, but I don't believe it until I see a break above resistance at least. This structure from the 5th of August low is not convincing. We had to the downside quite, convincing, let's say, bearish setups this week, but they were clearer on the Bitcoin chart. I think I did mention it in a post on Discord this week, and I highlighted that the movements to the downside on the Ethereum chart, they look more like 3-wave movements. So it is not as clearly bearish as it was on the Bitcoin chart, where we saw actually 5-wave movements. So, but that we will talk about that in the yellow count as well. But it just doesn't, it doesn't look convincing to the upside, because the movements to the upside were corrective as well. The move to the downside might be complete, however, but I can't confirm it at this stage. I just want to mention to you that if the bulls make a comeback, they would probably do it next week, and they would do it from this price region. Also, we reached this important trend line here that I showed you in yesterday's video on the daily time frame. I can adjust this trend line a little bit, but it's not so important in the grand scheme of things. We've got a very, very important trend line there. And the price found some support there. So looking at the white count, then we would need a break above first initial resistance there first. So initial resistance is 2,474, and then a break above the next swing high at 2,570, and then we can watch the white count further. It would be, however, an ABC structure in the third wave. It's not an impulse, which will make it difficult to confirm it. So it's not a great pattern. To the downside, we also don't have an impulse as it looks. This move up looks a bit too aggressive for that downside impulse that I showed you. So the idea of a downside impulse, but again, I already was questioning this because the movements to the downside were not clearly 5-wave movements, but it could still be a diagonal, right? So we might have here, this looks a bit like a 3-wave move anyway. So this could have been an ABC. Then we've got this wave 2, and then this here might also be an ABC in circle 3, then another 4-5. And the B wave resistance is 2,474, so it shouldn't really go above that level if this is wave B of 3. So this is what I'm tracking as we're going into the new trading week. So if we get a break above 2,474, it's a first signal that the bears are failing. So at the moment, there's nothing really telling me that the bears are failing. Obviously also because you might remember me saying that in that area around that green trend line, we are watching for support. And for the bulls, we also had this fib support area here, which was broken briefly, but the market did find support here at 2,200. So it was in one of the videos this week I mentioned, pay attention to that area. There could be some support in the white count, but also we might get a bounce in the yellow count, because this is a strong trend line and it's the 78.6 retracement of the initial rally. But there is nothing bullish until we break above resistance, and ideally in 5 waves, but we might not see a 5-wave move, as I explained, because we're dealing with diagonal patterns up and down. So that's the update about Ethereum. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching.